Hey guys, Andrew Shrout. I'm here in the sideboard with Grady Cameron. How's it going, Grady?
Going very good.
You have chosen to show up today and play Zombardment, kind of an old school favorite.
More like Zombardment.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we've trimmed down a little bit of the grave crawler zombie package. Just Bloodghast is the only zombie left in the deck. Tell me a little about why you chose to play this deck today.
Why I chose to play deck was it's Aristocrats was one of my favorite deck in Standard.
Okay.
And this is pretty much Aristocrats in Legacy, where you're sacrificing creatures, you're getting incremental value with tiny guys, and then you win the game from there.
Okay. So kind of a sacrifice small creatures theme deck then.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, that seems reasonable. There are a couple of new angles with this deck. This is an archetype that's been around for a while, but there's some cards here that I haven't seen in this deck before. You have 4 Entomb, and that's the big one that stands out to me. Tell me a little about how that card has been for you.
Entomb is because I read an article with Glenn Jones when he was talking about it.
Okay.
And he brought up the good point of you can Entomb for Bloodghast.
Sure.
So you can just put it in your graveyard, play your land, and fetch out, start attacking Bloodghast as soon as possible. It also allows you to have a toolbox kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I have a card called Crippling Fatigue.
Sure.
Which is
a very obscure card from Torment, I believe.
The thing with that card does is it kills Deathrite Shaman. So I can Entomb, get it, kill Deathrite Shaman, and go from there, and not have to worry about that guy.
Gotcha. Okay. So is that the only actual toolboxable, I guess?
I can hit Lingering Souls, Faithless Looting.
Okay.
I can get rid of bad cards that are if I don't need to draw another land, I can Entomb out another land.
Sure. Okay. The other kind of newer addition, you have 3 Young Pyromancer.
Yes.
So this is kind of a non-zombie style, but it's a token maker. So the deck starts to feel more like a token deck at this point. How's this card been for you?
Song Pyromancer has been amazing because I realized with the original list, you have 20 creatures, 20 spells, 20 lands. So you could get a lot of spells off a Young Pyromancer and just make an army of elemental tokens, and then you're not relying on your graveyard with zombies and such, so you can just beat them down with Chris Van Meter elemental tokens.
Okay.
And it also works really well with what you can call it, Cabal Therapy, sorry.
Sure, okay.
Where you can see their hand, sack it, and then get rid of whatever card you missed the first time.
Definitely. Okay, and you're actually playing Gitaxian Probes in the main deck as well.
Yep.
It's kind of a combo with both Young Pyromancer and Cabal Therapy, so a little bit of a trifecta going on there.
Yeah, a couple of decks have tried using that, and it's been doing decent in this deck.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is a deck that can make better use of the tokens than a lot of decks out there. The other big addition here, you're playing 3 Liliana the Veil. That's a card that it makes a lot of sense. When you're trying to discard things, kind of abuse your graveyard. Obviously, it's a very powerful card. But I know the original version of this deck, the Sam Black Zombardment deck from a few years ago, he didn't play that card simply because it would cost 3. It was just too expensive for him.
Yeah.
But this deck is geared a little higher, I suppose. So how's that card been for you?
Liliana is really good because it just gives you another way to rip their hand apart. Sam Black was originally playing Tidehollow Scholar, which is a zombie.
Right.
So that was his 8th through 12th discard spell.
Okay.
And I decided to hedge go to Liliana because I'm playing 4 Deathrite Shaman, and turn 2 Liliana is still really good.
Okay.
And making them sacrifice a creature is just also a very good thing, just more removal spells.
Kind of gravy on this.
She does it all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, certainly, Liliana the Veil in a vacuum needs no explanation.
Yeah.
But I imagine it is quite powerful here. So what are you hoping to play against when you're playing
I'm hoping to play against combo all day, because I can just take any cards in their hand, and usually I can just rip their hand apart.
Okay.
Against Sneak and Show, I'll just name Sneak Attack and just don't have to worry about that card ever again. Or if they're trying to get a critical mass of spells like Storm or High Tide, they can't because I'm just discarding their hand constantly.
Okay.
And pressuring them with Bloodghast and tokens.
Fair enough. All right. Now, so far, just while we've been sitting here, I think you've mentioned avoiding Deathrite Shaman about 3 or 4 times, so I think I can guess what you're hoping not to play against. But just graveyard hate in general, or is there anything more specific?
Actually, since I'm playing Young Pyromancer, graveyard hate isn't as bad. It's still annoying, but I can play through it really well.
Okay.
I'm actually most worried about Miracles, because their game plan is to grind out the other opponents with playing a lot of they can grind out a game better than I can, because they play off the top of their deck. So I can rip their hand apart and be like, oh look, Terminus, or oh look, Entreat the Angels.
Yeah, you cannot get rid of cards in the top 3 cards of their deck with the Thoughtseize. So
exactly, and also Terminus, like I just said, puts it on the bottom of my deck. I'm like, I can't get it back.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you were kind of hoping that this deck got a little more notoriety because you're kind of hoping that the wider world out there, that's you guys, will kind of pick it up and explore it a little more.
Yeah, I really like this deck. Has a lot to it. I can't play as often because I live in an area that's kind of secluded in the middle of the redwoods. So I don't get to play it all the time. I don't get to refine it and see like what doesn't work, what is really working very well. Okay. So I want people to play it more because it is an exceptionally good deck. Like I can see it underneath. Definitely
a lot of moving parts and a lot of possibilities. This feels like more so than most Legacy decks. An archetype that has not been perfected yet. Yeah, for sure.
Sam Black was on to something with this.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Stick around. We've got plenty more coverage coming of the Legacy Open here in Portland.